Well, President Trump tonight claiming Iran was set to attack the U.S. and that the country was planning a takeover of the Middle East.
He also says he expects the military operation there to be over soon.
Well, CBS LA political reporter Tom Wade is here with more on the president's first formal news conference since the war began.
Right, and he took a number of questions, but lots of questions are unanswered at this point about what's going on. So President Trump is not committing to a timeline, as Pat just said, to end the war in Iran, but pressure is mounting as the death toll rises and world financial and oil markets are impacted. President Trump at his golf club in Doral, Florida, first speaking to a room of Republican allies, making this claim about the war he launched on Iran.
Within a week, they were going to attack us 100%. They were ready.
The president did not offer any evidence to support that claim. A short time later, Trump took questions from reporters, ramping up his rhetoric, making this unsubstantiated statement.
They were going to take over the Middle East.
CBS News contributor Elliot Ackerman is a veteran of the Marines and the CIA.
There is sort of a shifting reason for why we're fighting the war and shifting reasons as to what the objectives of the war are. I think as Americans, this should give us some caution because it's very difficult to win a war if it's not clearly understood what the war is about.
As the war drags on, President Trump is under mounting pressure to find a resolution as the death toll rises, as world financial markets and the price of oil are impacted.
On Iran, you called it an excursion. You said it would be over soon. Are you thinking this week it will be over?
No,
Are you talking
but soon.
about days?
I think soon.
Okay, and with respect
Very soon. Look, everything they have is gone, including their leadership.
Thousands of supporters of the Iranian regime rallied in Tehran and pledged support for the newly appointed supreme leader, Ayatollah Mujtaba Khamenei, the son of the former supreme leader killed in U.S.-Israeli airstrikes. President Trump was asked about Iran's new leader.
You know, I was disappointed because we think it's going to lead to just more of the same problem for the country. So I was disappointed to see their choice.
The Ayatollah's appointment is seen as an act of defiance by Iran. It also potentially complicates an exit strategy for the Trump administration.
Politically, he is in tough shape. This is the first major conflict since the history of polling that the American people didn't support right at the beginning. And support seems to be dropping even further.
Over the weekend, Israel struck fuel depots in Tehran for the first time, sending fireballs and plumes of thick black smoke skyward, coming back down as acid rain. And fuel leaked into the city's wastewater system, igniting sewers across the city. Meanwhile, questions remain about a strike a week ago where an Iranian elementary school was hit, where dozens of girls were killed. A person familiar with the ongoing inquiry told CBS News that investigators believe the U.S. may have been responsible. The president says the investigation is ongoing.
I just don't know enough about it. I think it's something that I was told is under investigation.
Trump says the U.S. and Israel decimated Iran's missile capacity down to about 10%, but the Gulf states have been hammered over the past 24 hours. 17 incoming missiles to Qatar alone, along with drones. Tel Aviv has also been hit. So, the surrounding country is really on alert right now.
And more investigations, right? Into
Absolutely.
What exactly has been destroyed and all of that.
And the school, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Pat.
Well, people here at home still have a lot of questions about this war.
Yeah, questions that include a possible timeline and what our main objectives are.
A lot of opinions as well, and they shared them with CBS LA's Laurie Perez, live tonight in Westwood. Laurie.
That's right. We are in the heart of what is sometimes called Tehrangeles, a neighborhood here on the west side that is filled with Persian restaurants and shops, and nowadays also filled with a lot of emotion about the war in Iran.
Free Iran.
We're there to liberate. Pray that it liberates our people.
Iranian Americans we spoke with are united in their dream of a free Iran, but less in sync on whether the war has been or will be the answer. Today, President Trump said the war could soon be over. Alex Mohajer is vice president of the Iranian American Democrats of California.
That it's almost over just doesn't make any sense. What's almost over? What is the objective in Iran? If it's a regime change, then you need to look that they just replaced the Ayatollah Khomeini with his son. The entire IRGC apparatus is still in place. Nothing has systemically changed in Iran.
But others, like attorney Ariel Rafaim, are reading it differently.
It's the first administration to go beyond this proxy war and actually target those responsible for the violence in the Middle East. We are on the precipice of it being actually a short conflict. But the overall mission of bringing freedom to Iran, liberating the people of Iran, is a long-term mission and something that will need our support.
So whether the war has done enough or hasn't done enough, to some Iranian immigrants, it has done something after decades of oppression. Hamed Rezapour is the man behind LA's massive Iranian rallies.
I want to tell you something very simple. People in my country doesn't have any support inside. And that's the reason we will say, thank you, President Trump.
Enough reason for Faraz Gorg, who came here when he was 8, to stray from his role as humorous influencer to speak out about what he hopes this war is fighting for.
We've seen it. We've seen loved ones get taken. We've seen people under 10 years old be taken, out of their lives and out of a future they have.
But shared pain and a shared dream does not always mean shared optimism.
When the war began, I certainly felt like many Iranian people, hopeful, optimistic, even though I don't want foreign wars and I don't want my loved ones to be bombed, that maybe there is some net positive outcome that results from this. And as time passes, I'm less and less convinced that that's going to be the case.
As for who should lead Iran if there is regime change, that is also the source of some debate within the Iranian community. We are live in Westwood tonight. I'm Laurie Perez. Back to you.
All right. Thank you, Laurie. And tonight we are learning more about the 7th American service member killed during the war with Iran. Army Sergeant Benjamin Pennington of Glendale, Kentucky, was severely wounded last week at a U.S. base in Saudi Arabia. The 26-year-old died yesterday from those injuries. Vice President J.D. Vance attended the dignified transfer of Pennington at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware tonight. Vance was escorted to the flight line and then returned as part of a procession that also included Secretary Pete Hegseth and Air Force General Dan Kane. They stood at salute as the transfer case was carried off the plane. And our coverage of the war continues on CBS LA at 9. Coming up, gas prices jumping more than 50 cents a gallon since the start of the war. What the White House is now considering to get prices under control.